You know, Donna, I spent a lot of time out west, and I learned how to play the Native American flute, which this is here. This one here was made by a wonderful flute maker named Island Ray. And this flute, a special kind of flute that he gifted to me, is made out of wood from when a hurricane came through Florida, and it's made with this beautiful kind of wood that he calls hurricane wood. And I've always loved some of those kind of Native American stories, and when I was traveling out west, I played it on a lot of reservations. I was doing schools all throughout the United States. I did over 1,000 schools in every state in the lower 48. And later on, I went way up into Alaska and went over to Hawaii and then all over the world. But I learned how to play that flute, and I wanted to learn something about storytelling. And, I started looking around for somebody that I could learn from, and guess what? I found the person that I was looking for in Richmond, Vermont. That's right. Wolfsong, the great storyteller, just lived around the corner for where I live, over in Heinsberg. And we decided to be friends, and I asked him if he would teach me how to tell stories, and he said, well, I'll teach you some stories if you teach me how to play the flute. So I taught him a little bit on the flute, and he told me about telling stories. And then unfortunately, Wolfsong had passed away way before his time. And, he was at that time, it was before the internet. So, even though he was had a great impact, a lot of people didn't, talk about him because he didn't have a fancy website or anything like that. So I thought it was time to remember my friend. So I went out to Snake Mountain, not too far from Virgins, over near Addison. And that's where his ashes were scattered, at the top of Snake Mountain. And I went out there and I looked at the top of the mountain where his ashes were scattered, and I started thinking about my friend. And I started thinking about whenever he would tell a story, especially a long story, he had to make sure that people didn't fall asleep. So he would ask his audience to say, hey. And then if they were listening, they went, ho. And so all of a sudden, I started hearing Wolfsong's voice in my ear going, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho. On Snake Mountain in the Vermont hills, high above the rocks and rills, after midnight when the moon's in spring, you can hear the wolf song sing. Hey, ah, 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 hey, oh. Hey, ah, 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 hey, oh. He was a man, he walked this land, and he came from Abenaki clan. He shared his stories, he shared his soul, reaching out to young and old. Hey, ah, 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 hey, oh, oh. Hey, ah, 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 hey. He held the legends, he kept the lore, and was welcome at every door. He heard the calling of the loon, then he left with the daughter of the moon. No, no, no. Hey, ah, 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 hey, oh. Hey, ah, 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 hey, oh. Now his journey in this world is through, but he still lives in me and you, like Usagabi and all his friends
Now his story will never end. No, no, no. Hey, 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 we remember. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, hey, 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 we remember. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, one more time. Hey, 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 hey.
For our dear friend Wolfsong.
Yeah.